Ooh! How's it going, all you cool people? I'm Gehab, and welcome back. So it's been about, I want to say a year and a half since I've actually sat down to record a video. I figured it'd be better if I just sort of uploaded a new video to show you guys that, like, hey, bam, by the way, if you haven't seen that, it's gonna be somewhere up here. I'm gonna be talking about a lot of stuff in this video. I'll have like a summarization at the start if you're not really interested in all the little details and stuff I kind of want to talk about. If you are though, make sure to stick around. I'm just gonna, sort of vent a little bit here. So let's go back, all right? 2019 started off as a very promising year for your boy Gehab. I've been doing YouTube for a long time, okay? Up until that point, I've been doing it for 5 years, and I'd had my ups and downs. I had some success here and there, but never really like blew up. I suddenly get the idea to do a teabag tier list, which is still the dumbest idea I've ever had. Still very proud of that idea though. And I make it, and suddenly it goes like super viral. It gets like 1 million views within a few days. I'm like, oh my god, this is insane. I gotta make another one. So I start doing that. And then it turns out this is gonna be like my big break on YouTube. This is what I've been waiting for so long. And the thing is, you kind of get the idea as a YouTuber that when you become successful or when you go viral, that's when everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna have to, you can stop worrying now, like everything's fixed. But that wasn't the case for me. So this is kind of where I want to start talking about the more complex stuff. But essentially, just to summarize, I, over the last year, have been dealing with a lot of repressed depression, repressed feelings in general, and lack of discipline, lack of good scheduling and a disciplinary stuff. And I had an overall very unhealthy lifestyle, and I think it just in the end sort of made me implode and explode afterwards. It's kind of interesting actually, because I actually made an update video like a month or two after I'd been gone for a while. And I almost don't want to rewatch that, but I just remember saying stuff like, oh, it's gonna be okay, guys, it's not that bad. I've just been dealing with some bad thoughts, but it got a whole lot worse after that. Like my whole personality like collapsed essentially. But yeah, so again, in summary, if you're just here to check up on me, I'm doing a lot better now. I'm gonna go into a lot of stuff now, so if, again, maybe there's gonna be a trigger warning. I'm not exactly sure. I don't have a script for this video. I just have some points I want to bring out. So, but if if you have anxiety or depression or anything and you feel like you might get triggered, maybe click off. Yeah, so the big break happened. Up until that point, I was very not really on a schedule. I kind of just edited whenever I felt like it, and I just didn't really have much self-control. I always used to work in my room, right? Like right here on this computer. And right next to me here, I have my video games, my consoles, and I've loved video games since I was 3. This is a very bad combo, and I didn't actually understand this up until this year. Essentially, when I was working, I used to play games at the same time, talk to people. I was a heavy procrastinator, dude, and it was extraordinarily bad for my workflow. I even set this whole setup up with the intention to play video games while I was editing, like it would help me focus. In retrospect, it's the dumbest idea ever, but essentially this led me down a path where I just didn't work in a healthy way. And when this big break happened, suddenly I felt this immense pressure, like, oh my god, I gotta work, gotta make this video fast, because this was the big break. So I used to sit for like 11, 12, sometimes 13 hours just like working. But again, with the video game stuff, it wasn't like good, productive work. I would work myself till I was tired, then I'd be like, oh god, I'll play some video games for like 30 minutes, then I'll work myself till I'm tired again, and just back and forth constantly. I would not leave my room at all. And prior to this, I tried going to the gym, and that was sort of collapsing with this whole thing. Like essentially, I already struggled with maintaining a lot of things. I didn't have a good workflow. I didn't really have much of a social life. I just had a lot of worries. Like if you're a YouTuber, if you're just any, I guess, self-employed person, you know how difficult it can be to sort of distance yourself from your, I guess, statistics. Like I always struggled a lot as well with like putting my worth into my numbers on YouTube. I'm sure you've heard this plenty of times from other YouTubers. If a video is performing poorly, I'd essentially just blame myself for it. And I think this was built up over time. And in the end, I sort of just realized that even if the videos start doing better, I'm still always going to have this problem because I'm always in the back of my head worried that I'm going to lose this. Even like as it was happening, I'm like, oh god, if I don't do this fast enough or well enough and push these videos out, I'm gonna lose it and it's gonna be horrible. It was just an overall very shitty experience, but I'm sort of glad that I went through it because I am doing a whole lot better now, right? I definitely needed to take a long time off to figure out a lot of things, and I'm very privileged and lucky that I can actually do that. But like, this whole thing just sort of feeds into this toxic mindset I see online, especially, and I'm not trying to specifically call anyone out here. I don't really believe that this is anyone's fault, to be honest. This is just a problem with like the competition of YouTube, where like you constantly have to be faster, you constantly have to be the first one to upload, the one with the newest ideas, the one with the longest videos. Like, it's always a competition of who can do what the most or the best or the fastest, and it becomes this mindset where it's just an insane competition. People just have this fake layer, and I had this for sure, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm on the grind, boys. Yeah, there's gonna be a new video out soon, guys. Everything's epic. And especially near the end, like, I don't ever feel like I'm necessarily faking my personality, but it's more so that like you overdo it to a point where people on the outside get this impression that like that's just the way you are, and that's just the way being a YouTuber is, and it's like epic, and it's just constantly on top of things, when in reality, I feel like most YouTubers behind the scenes are kind of crumbling. Again, I'm sure there's plenty of people that aren't. I'm just saying, I feel like most people are. I feel like you need to be really disciplined, really able to control yourself, or just have like a lot of money to hire a lot of people to do a lot of work for you. In order to actually just mentally get through this. And again, I'm not trying to say that this is like the worst job ever or anything. There's a lot of people out there that have to go through a lot of worse things every day. I'm just saying, from a mental point of view, for me at least, this was essentially what happened. So I found some videos that kind of go into sort of what I've been talking about a little bit very well. One here is from Tom Scott, and it's called Why You Don't Want to Go Viral. He has a lot of good talking points on kind of exactly how I felt. I'm gonna play some clips here just so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about, but if you want to watch the entire video for yourself, which I highly recommend you do, he's a great content creator. Again, I'm gonna link it. I don't know which is left or right here, but just click the thing, go watch it yourself. But here's some clips just so you get an idea.
A #1 song does not make a career. In fact, it can kill a career. If all you're known for is doing one thing, all the world will want to see is that one thing. A single popular video does not make you a YouTube star. It makes you the person who stands up and repeats that catchphrase over and over again until everyone's tired of it. But you know that idea you had when you were in the shower or in the pub with friends, or just letting your mind wander on a rainy beach today? That idea might be good. Your brain is an index, so you can say, think of something popular. Your brain thrives on connections, and it is way more difficult to make those connections when your job depends on it. But you'll have seen all the creators in every genre on YouTube talking about burnout. Your dream job can still be a nightmare if you don't have a backup plan.
Another video I saw that sort of put my thoughts very well into words was an interview by Dr. K. I'm sure you've heard him. He's a psychologist on Twitch. Very good man. Also go subscribe to him. He was talking to Caterino on a live interview. And I know a lot of you probably have a lot of what's the word? Not pent up emotions, but yeah, I can't think about something. But a lot of people hate her, and I don't think that's right. Situation is really complex. Again, I also recommend you to watch this entire interview. It is 2 hours long. I watched the whole thing, and it's very interesting. I feel bad for both parties in the whole thing. It's all drama, but anyway, I'm gonna play a clip here, and then I'm gonna talk about how I feel.
Kinda, you know how when you look and when you interact with the world and life, your eyes are kind of here, you know, your vision is here. But it kind of feels like when I depersonalize, like my vision's back here, like I'm super on autopilot, and I depersonalize when I get stressed or anxious. For 6 months, it just felt like I was a shell of a person, like I wasn't even living. I was there and I was just kind of like passively living while my body just did things. I didn't think about anything, I didn't process anything like that, you know? I just kind of told all my thoughts and feelings to f off, you know? And okay. I didn't process anything, or I didn't think about anything, and I just like totally lived on autopilot, you know?
I very much relate to the whole autopilot and depersonalization thing, where for a long time, I dealt with a lot of these emotions that I described before that sort of erupted when the channel went viral. I felt like I always sort of had them. I recognize that now when I don't have them, that they were always there. These anxiety about success, proving that, you know, I can do the things I wanted to do. I don't know, I was bullied a lot as a kid, and it built up this resentment towards these people that like, oh, well, I'm gonna prove that I'm like better than them or whatever, which isn't really a healthy mindset. It doesn't matter. What I do on YouTube does not dictate my worth. Same with, I mean, everyone, to be honest. It doesn't matter what you do, what job you have, or some shit like that, and none of that dictates your worth. I had a lot of feelings like that, and I essentially, again, just told them to f off. Didn't talk about them, didn't really address them. I had that toxic man way of thinking where it's like, well, no, like, ooga booga, I can handle it. And I just sort of shoved them all away. I felt hopeless for a very long time, but in the end, obviously I managed to get out on top. So eventually I took this long break, right? It was sort of forced on me to a certain degree, because I just couldn't handle it, dude. I just completely shut myself in. All I did was play video games, essentially. I spoke to a few people, and I just stayed inside. I felt completely hopeless. I felt completely like every day was just a blur, essentially. It's funny how most people see 2020 as their worst year ever. For me, 2019 was really horrible. And then 2020 is actually, hey, that's pretty good. It's actually the best year I've had in a long time, which is, you know, bad considering the circumstances. What sort of helped me in the end was, I guess, you know, I have my parents, I have my girlfriend, I have friends, and I slowly but surely, after this long time of thinking a lot and whatever, you know, I decided to start trying things a little bit, right? I failed so many times and shut the door and shut myself back in so many times. What saved me was starting to go to the gym again. I met some friends, some old classmates actually, at the gym, and they went to the gym a shit ton. They're really big, really muscular. At first, I was very intimidated. I felt like, wow, like they're just gonna see how pathetic I am and how little I go to the gym and stuff, which is, you know, again, it's such a dumb way of thinking. But I understand now that like I was in such a bad place that I just didn't have a healthy way of thinking. But yeah, I wanted to start going more, obviously. When I used to go to the gym semi-regularly, I always went to sort of with the mindset of building the ideal body, right? Like I wanted to look like those Instagram models. I wanted to have that ideal body or whatever. And I feel like in the end, that was a really bad reason to go. Maybe it works for some people, but I realized in the end, what really pushed me and what really helped me go as much as I do now and as consistently as I do now was when I just decided like, you know what, I need to build some sort of healthy habit. That's kind of where I was at, because I'd been reading stuff online. My girlfriend sees a really good psychologist that had given her a lot of good advice that it sort of got passed on to me. And it's about like building good habits, taking away bad habits. And throughout this whole year when I was away, I was under the mindset of like, I gotta fix everything, right? So I constantly tried to work on my video, constantly tried to go back on the gym, constantly try to eat healthy, constantly try to like go out more, all these things. It was so overwhelming. There was so much stuff, and there was a bunch of things I don't even remember that I wanted to fix. And in the end, it was so pointless. You know, there was just so much stuff. So I just decided, you know what, screw everything, screw all that stuff. I'm just gonna focus on the gym. I ate like a pig. I played video games all day. I didn't really talk to a lot of people, but I did go to the gym. And that's when it started to get better. I essentially just forced myself to go to the gym with my dad. He helped me out a crap ton, so shout out to Dad Gehab. It was really, really, really difficult to go every single day. No, it's not even physically. It was so close to where I live, but holy crap, my brain was on full like attack mode on myself. It was so hard to motivate myself. I'd like crawl and like squirm around in bed because I didn't want to go. I was literally being a baby about it. In my head, I'd already lost hope. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna fix this. I'm a hopeless being. I was like, I'm never gonna live up to any expectations or whatever. I just given up. But through this, I just forced myself to go however bad I felt, and eventually it got easier. And that's what building a routine is, right? Building a habit. You just do it, and then eventually it just gets easier. It took me around 6 weeks of constant like just going until I just genuinely felt like, okay, this is getting a lot easier now. And I started going and going. And going to the gym is just one of the most rewarding things you can ever do for yourself, because it's literal progress on your body that is there constantly reminding you that you did this, no matter how big or whatever it is you do. If you can just see the outline of your bicep, that's like progress, right? I feel like that to me just sort of woke me up and told me that like, hold up, you can actually do things. Eventually, you know, I started going with my friends there, the classmates that I met, and suddenly I sort of developed a social life there. I went to the gym with them every single day, and seeing people every single day helped so much. And that really sucks now in today's climate, but hopefully that gets fixed soon. But again, yeah, that's sort of what saved me in the end. I started doing that, and then eventually things just got easier because I just had a much better foundation. I essentially had to tear myself down to build myself back up. So if you're struggling with similar feelings, you know, obviously I recommend talking to people. I did see a psychologist through this for a little while. This was after I started going to the gym and stuff, though I got to speak to someone a little bit. So I definitely recommend doing that, seeing a therapist, psychologist if possible. If you're comfortable with it, I would try to speak to, you know, parents or friends. Sometimes it's, you know, hard for other people to understand exactly what you might be going through. I've realized this through my time that, you know, I used to think that like being depressed was being sad, when in reality it's a lot more than just being sad. It's a lot of feelings of inadequacy. I think I'm saying that right, but just, you know, not being good enough. And again, I used to think I was like a waste of space. I used to put all my worth into YouTube. I had such enormous expectations of myself sometimes, which was, you just couldn't fulfill it. Yeah, so attaching yourself to statistics and stuff and basing your worth off of either what other people say or stuff like that just completely broke me. So hopefully that's a general idea of sort of what happened. That's probably the most descriptive reason I've given now at this point. So moving forward, I am going to be changing a few things. I am not going to be making any promises in this video. If I start doing this again and I'm like, you know what, this just isn't for me, then I'm going to stop eventually. Obviously I'll tell you guys, I'll say how I feel and stuff. I'm just saying that I'm not here to be like, yeah, we're coming back, guys, merch dropping tomorrow, we got vlogs coming every single fucking day, live stream every single day, 10-hour videos every single time. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna take this a bit more casually. I'm gonna focus on myself a lot more, make sure I have fun with this stuff. It's gonna sound horrible because I hope you guys know how much I genuinely care about you, how much I genuinely care about your support. I usually sit and respond to comments for hours. I used to before all this happened. The thing is, something, I can't remember what it was, but it sort of made me realize that it's not just the negative stuff that actually affected me. A lot of the positive stuff actually had a very bad effect on me. And again, don't take this the wrong way. This is not a personal attack. Doesn't mean you should stop saying stuff either, because I love reading them. It's more so that I need to take a certain distance away from this, because you'll see this with a lot of YouTubers out there where they get these massive egos, right? They think they're on top of the world, untouchable, they can do whatever they want, and they're just better than other people. And this is a really toxic mindset. But I actually understand this now, because I've come to realize that times like whenever I used to upload a video, right, or whenever something went really well, or I went to like an event or something, my ego would shoot up really high. I wasn't mean to people or anything, but in my head it was like, well, you're obviously really good, right? Look at all these people that like you. Look at all these comments. Look at all these views you're getting right now. That to me would be like, well, like, I'm the best. Obviously, I can do whatever. So I just, instead, after I like uploaded a video, I would take a bunch of days off or whatever. I would just play around, do whatever I wanted, and just be a complete unhealthy poop. Play video games for way too many hours, or just not do anything productive. Because in my head, I'd earned it, right? You know, we have such a good, happy community. It's hard for it not to get into your head, because no one out there, no matter kind of what they do, is ever that good, right? Where like I just made a video and I'm getting like tens of thousands of comments telling me I'm the best. This is completely on me, where I'm probably in the future going to take a bit more of a distance from this. I always had the idea that I owe you guys to respond to comments constantly and to be on the Discord constantly, talking to people constantly. I used to take so much time. I would multitask everything. Like I'd have a video game on, I'd be editing, and I'd be trying to respond to comments at the same time. And it just was this weird cycle where I was doing everything at the same time, and I just didn't have time for anything at the same time. In the future, I'm probably going to be a little bit more distant. I just don't want you guys to take this like I don't care anymore. I genuinely do it. I genuinely have to force myself to take a step back just so I can be more of like a normal human being, you know? I'm just a normal dude making videos. That's how I want to see myself. I don't want to see myself as a YouTube sensation, because that just gets to your head and it's not good, you know? I want to be nice to you guys. I want to bring you good content, and I feel like, I guess it makes it harder for me if I have this mindset that like I can just do whatever I want. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, I could potentially respond to them in the comments. So leave a comment and then maybe I'll respond to it. For the final point, I kind of just want to talk about my content and what to expect for the future. Again, not making any promises here, but current plan is I'm not going to be changing much. I'm going to be trying some new things, got some fun stuff in the pipeline. The biggest thing is that it's probably going to be hard for me to keep this exact same format up, because the newest video that's out right now is about 37 minutes long and it's full of editing, completely packed. Hopefully I'll have some imagery of like what the project looks like. I love editing, but when it gets to this point in the future now, I'm going to be changing a little bit how I approach that. Again, I'm not stopping tier lists. I'm just going to be changing it up a little bit, making it easier for myself to produce content, enjoy what I'm doing so I don't burn out like this again. Again, the style is probably still going to be there, so you guys aren't going to really feel much of a difference. I've got a beard now as well. I've been rocking the facial hair for a little while. It's not actually fully grown out yet because I had to shave it off a few weeks ago. When it's fully grown out, it looks good. I'm very happy with all that stuff. So that's kind of all I wanted to talk about, really. Appreciate you guys a lot for listening, and hopefully this was helpful for at least one of you. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I'll maybe respond to it if I see it, if it's a good question, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I love you. Have an epic day. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.